welcome back to the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Burkle, here with the host today, Aaron and Joe. Go and say hi, guys.
Hi.
Alright, in this video, we'll be doing another edition of our weekly NFL predictions. This time, taking a look at the Week 12 slate of games. If you haven't seen one of these videos before, we'll be going through each game of Week 12 of the NFL season, each giving our prediction for who we think is going to win, who we think is going to lose, why we think that team's going to win or lose, and then just keep going until we run out of predictions to make. But before we get started, we'll be taking a look at our results from last week. Aaron and Joe both tied, going 10-4 on the week, while I came out on top for just this 1 week at least, going 11-3. That puts the season totals at Aaron still leading the way at 101 and 49. I caught a game on him, now at 99 and 51. And then Joe's just behind me at 98 and 52. Still has a chance to get back into it, having, the same record as Aaron this past week. So.
Yeah, and if you like our content, be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think.
But let's go ahead and make our predictions for Week 12. So, starting off this week's predictions, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cleveland Browns on Thursday Night Football. A nice little AFC North division matchup. One we probably thought preseason would be a little bit more competitive than what we're probably about to witness. But nevertheless, could still be a tough game. NFC North or AFC North is known to beat up on each other, regardless of how good or bad each team is. But I just don't see the Browns kind of really standing any chance in this game. Steelers, the Browns defense has not been worth anything these past few weeks, and that's kind of the only thing that they've got going for them in a matchup against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that's probably going to keep Cleveland from scoring hardly at all. So I kind of imagine the Steelers being able to get out early, probably rely on the run game of Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. Pretty big part of the game. They probably each, honestly, if they get out to the lead that I think they're capable of, we could see both running backs flirting with 20 carries each. So, I'm going to take the Steelers in this one, and maybe running the ball 40 times to do so, because they ain't got to throw it.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's supposed to be a balmy 40 degrees and potentially rainy. So just your classic AFC North matchup. The rain would probably potentially help the Browns because it would maybe hamper the pass game a little bit, but I'm still taking the Steelers anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Steelers easy.
All right, next we got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. Bears firing the OC seems to have helped a little bit with the offense. Actually, almost went up and knocked off the Green Bay Packers this past week. Just falling just short after having their game-winning field goal attempt blocked at the buzzer. Meanwhile, the Vikings, really gotten right back on track after dropping 2 straight. Obviously started the season off 5-0, then lost 2, and now are riding a 3-game winning streak with Sam Darnold kind of turning it back around, and that defense still being a big part of why that team is so successful. I kind of expect this to be probably more of a low-scoring affair. Sam Darnold, while he's played better these past few weeks, he still isn't really lighting the world on fire. He isn't putting up a ton of points. So I don't think the Vikings... I don't think the Vikings will necessarily have to score a lot in this game. I think that defense could probably keep the Bears under, 4 touchdowns, probably under 25 points. And then the Vikings should be able to just edge out a victory, probably putting together something like 27 points or so. So give me the Vikings in this one. Probably going to lead on that defense and that run game a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Vikings as well. Bears step in the right direction, but, who knows if that's going to last into another week. It is another division opponent, so this could be another, tough, hard-fought divisional game, but I think the offense of the Vikings is just going to be a little too powerful. So I'll take the Vikings as well.
Same.
All right, moving on to the Detroit Lions taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Lions looking like potentially the best team in football right now, sitting at 9-1, tied for the best record in the league. Really haven't missed a step since losing Aiden Hutchinson for the season. Possibly the best running attack in the league. Definitely, in my opinion, the best offensive line in the league. And that defense has just really improved head and shoulders from what they were last season. Meanwhile, the Colts just brought Anthony Richardson back into the fold this past game. He looked really, really good. Probably the best he has all season. Maybe the best he has all career with Indy. Putting up, close to 300 yards. Most important part is, 67% completion percentage and no interceptions. Scored 3 total touchdowns, so he's kind of riding a wave of momentum. Coming into this game, see if he can continue to build off of that. But I just think the Lions are going to be too much for Indianapolis. Probably just kind of run it down their throat all game long. Jared Goff won't be asked to do a ton, but he's kind of shown this past week at least. He showed bouncing back from that 5 interception game a week before that he's still capable of lighting it up and carving up a defense. So regardless, it's probably Lions game to lose. So give me Detroit.
Lions.
Same.
All right, next we got the New England Patriots taking on the Miami Dolphins. AFC East matchup between two kind of middling teams. I mean, the Dolphins probably not so much middling anymore. They kind of bounced back since Tua came back. Offense has looked really well. Just picked up their first win since he came back, I think, this past week. Maybe their second win. But offense has looked way better since he took back over for Tyler Huntley. Meanwhile, the Patriots still just kind of riding Drake May, seeing what he's made of. I mean, he's looked good. Can't really say, one way or the other because it's hard to evaluate a quarterback when he's got, nothing around him, no offensive line to speak of, not much weapons. You can only imagine that they're going to build basically every position this offseason and beyond around Drake May. But I just don't think he's going to be able to do enough to overcome what's probably going to be a significant talent disadvantage here against the Dolphins. So give me Miami and their surging offense.
Yeah, I'm going to take Miami as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is sort of a close game early on. But then I don't know if the Patriots are going to be able to possess the ball enough to give their defense a real chance to rest against this high-powered, explosive Dolphins offense. So give me Miami.
Same.
Next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New York Giants. Buccaneers coming off a bye this past week, where you can only hope that they've gotten a little bit more rested up. I think Mike Evans is actually supposed to be coming back this game, so it's going to be a huge re-addition to the offensive side of the football for Tampa Bay. Giants, on the other hand, are kind of going the complete opposite direction. Well, maybe not, because addition by subtraction and all that, getting rid of Daniel Jones in the starting lineup. Although choosing to go with Tommy DeVito over Drew Lock is certainly a choice. Yeah. Possibly could be an indication they're just tanking the rest of the year. Maybe it's an indication that Drew Lock's just really not looked that good in practice. Not really sure. Maybe it's also a situation where they just know Tommy DeVito is more comfortable in the system, has more familiarity with it, and doesn't want to worry about having to get Drew Lock up to speed. Although he's been there for 11 weeks now, so you'd hope he has a decent grip on the offensive playbook by now. But yeah, I mean, I just don't see any way the Giants are going to be able to win this game. Buccaneers coming off a bye, should be fully rested. Mike Evans coming back should give a boost to that offense. Bucky Irving seems to be kind of supplanting himself as potentially a lead back there in Tampa Bay. I know Rachaad White still gets a lot of touches, but Bucky Irving's really, really looked good as the seasons went on. And Baker Mayfield has had the confidence to just kind of let it fly out there. So he should be riding a little bit of a high, I think, coming off a bye, and should be able to lightly push off the New York Giants.
Bucks. I mean, this shouldn't really be a contest.
Same.
Well, if I didn't at least add some spice to these matchups, guys, this would be like a 5-minute video. So,
Well, somebody's taking all the talking points.
next we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Washington Commanders in an NFC East matchup between the second best team and the second worst team. Two middle teams in the division, separated by only 4 fucking games. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, the Commanders are a way better team than the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys stink. Washington. There's your talking. Have some talking points.
Yeah, this Cowboys defense has been in shambles all year. I think Jaden Daniels leads the Commanders to a relatively easy victory. I don't know that Cooper Rush really has it in him to go on the road and beat a team like the Commanders.
Same.
I just hope that Cooper Rush throws another 55 passes this game.
He might well.
He might. he might. Next, we got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Carolina Panthers. Kansas City obviously looking for a bounce back from that Bills loss a week ago, picking up their first L of the year. And all I gotta say is if the Chiefs bounce back like they're supposed to, and you typically see Super Bowl contenders bounce back after a loss during the regular season, may God have mercy on the Carolina Panthers. Because them already being a pretty bad team, specifically on the defensive side. If Mahomes, for just one game this year, can decide to play at his full potential, because for whatever reason that seems to be a impossibility this year. But if he decides to do that this game, we might hang 70 on him, a la Miami, Denver last season. That's an exaggeration, sure, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. So, yeah, Chiefs.
I think it is way out of the realm of possibility. Andy Reid will never score 70 points on anybody unless the other team scores 69.
Yeah.
So, the way the Chiefs play football,
too nice of a guy.
Everybody's a threat. They hardly ever blow anybody out. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a Chiefs feel in control, but it's really a close game, sort of game, kind of like similar to the Saints.
Yeah.
But I think the Chiefs win.
Like I said, if they do what they're supposed to do, what they should do, this should be an ass whooping. But, like you said, Aaron, the way they play football, they play to the level of their competition, regardless of who that is. Could be a 15-13 Chiefs win. Next, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Houston Texans. AFC South matchup that really doesn't mean anything because the Texans are running away with that division. Well, I mean, the Colts are still kind of in play, but for the most part, the Texans are running away with that division. I don't really see any reason they're going to lose to a Titans team that is 2-8, and Will Levis is, in contention for worst starting quarterback in the NFL this year. You got the running game is also up there for 32nd in the league as far as efficiency goes. This Titans team is just not very good. Defense is left on the field way too long, kind of limits any chance they have at keeping them in the game. This Texans offense, while struggling at times this year, put on a really good performance this past week. Joe Mixon played really well. I think that offensive line is going to be able to hold up against this Titans defense. And, Texans should coast to a pretty comfortable win, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that Texans O-line is real confusing. They can run the ball on almost anybody, but when it comes to the pass game, they just can't keep anybody out of the backfield. But I'm kind of with you. I think the Texans should kind of roll to a victory over the Titans, not because they're so much better than them, but just because the Titans are so inept on offense.
Yeah. I love it. That's great. Next, we've got the Denver Broncos taking on the Las Vegas Raiders in an AFC West showdown, where the Broncos, with a win here, could further cement themselves in playoff hunt. Have an outside show. Actually, I think they're technically the 7th seed right now. They would technically make the playoffs if the season ended today. So they would just hope to further that with a win here against a awful Raiders team that has no business playing football in the NFL right now, let alone winning a game. So I don't think that the Raiders are going to be able to put any points on the Broncos. Maybe they scratch away 1 or 2 scoring drives, but I don't expect them to score a bountiful amount of points. I think the Broncos offense is starting to heat up, and that Raiders defense is kind of giving up on the year. So I could see the Broncos getting out to an early lead and then just kind of hand it off to Javonte Williams for the rest of the day. Give me Denver.
This could be a gross game. I could see this being like a 20-14 game or something like that. Just an absolute grinder. But I agree. I think the Broncos are just the better team. So I'll take the Broncos.
Broncos put an ass whooping on the Falcons this past week. I could see them doing the same to Las Vegas.
Same.
Next, we got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Green Bay Packers. That beautiful, beautiful matchup we've seen so many times in the playoffs. We're seeing it this time in the regular season as well. And this time around, the Packers are the better team going in. At least it looks that way on the outside. Typically, the Niners have kind of had the upper hand as far as talent goes in these matchups the previous 4 seasons or however long this little mini rivalry has been going on. Obviously, originally started with Aaron Rodgers under center, now Jordan Love. Seems like the Packers still have the better quarterback, but I think that's up for debate. It really depends what kind of Jordan Love's showing up that day. Is it the Brett Favre version or the Aaron Rodgers version? Because the Brett Favre version is like a poor man's Brett Favre, to where it's really just the picks. It's really all you're getting. And then the Aaron Rodgers version, also a poor man's, because it's not Aaron Rodgers, but pretty damn good quarterback. The Niners, on the other hand, are kind of fighting to stay alive in the playoff hunt, dropping a really ugly game to the Seahawks this past week in a division matchup that should have won, to be quite honest, and that's kind of been the theme for them this season. I think 3 of their 5 losses are against division opponents. Seahawks, I think they've lost to all 3 division opponents at least once so far this season, in the Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks. I think the Packers are better than all 3 of those teams, so I'm going to take Green Bay in this one. Purdy probably throws a costly interception late in a close game, and the Packers are able to march down the field and make them pay with a game-winning drive, we'll say. So, give me Green Bay.
I'll go with the 49ers for the hell of it. I say Christian McCaffrey, this is his coming out game of the season. First 2 games sort of not rust off still. I think they really sort of try and emphasize getting him the ball, getting this 49ers team in the right direction, trying to make the playoffs. And yeah, I'll take the 49ers getting a solid road win against the Packers.
I needed Aaron to pick Green Bay so that this could be one of those one-up games that I get.
Dude, just go with Green Bay. You got it.
Or go with the 49ers.
With that being said, yeah, I'm going to go Niners. They're 5-5, man. Backs against the wall. They need a win right here. I think they go into Lambeau. Fred Warner gets them right on defense, causes some hell for Jordan Love, and they get out of there with a win.
Shanahan is notably bad with his back against the wall. So, I will say that. Next, we got the Arizona. Do what? Oh, my bad. Yeah. because now we're gonna lose this one, guys, because y'all went with the wrong team. That's why I was trying to save us one, but it's fine. Next we got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Seattle Seahawks. NFC West matchup between the best team in the conference and who's now the second best team in the conference because they got the tiebreaker over the other 5-5 team, the San Francisco 49ers. So yeah, I mean this division's still wide open. A win here for Seattle would go a long way. I mean, I guess it would technically put them in first in the division because they'd have the tiebreaker over the Cardinals for the time being, I believe, and then tiebreaker over the Niners, assuming the Niners. That would be if the Niners won. So yeah, Seahawks with a chance to go up to first place in the division with a win here this week. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have a chance to extend their lead on the division, assuming the Niners lose. So, the Rams are also 5-5. Holy shit, this is getting really fun over there in that division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I guess that would make the Niners the worst team, the fourth team right now. So
They are at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, they're at the. Wow, I should have probably researched this before going into this spiel.
Yeah, I didn't bring it up in our winners or losers or anything.
Yeah, well,
It's must win for them.
I mean, it's really. I guess it is must win, but it's. I mean, it's also if the Cardinals lose here, it's really not that big of a deal if they lost. But I'm going way off on a tangent at this point. Let's reel it back in. Cardinals versus Seahawks. Seahawks defense has been notably poor this year. Cardinals has been better than anticipated, I think. The main difference, I think, in this game is going to be the fact that the Cardinals offense just seems a lot more consistent than the Seahawks have been. I have a little bit more faith in Kyler Murray this year than I do Geno Smith. I have a lot more faith, believe it or not, in that running game in Arizona than I do in Seattle. I like Kenneth Walker a lot. I don't think they've been able to run the ball quite as effectively as James Conner's been able to do in Arizona. Conner's been kind of a workhorse. He's been one of the best backs of the season this year. And, I think that's going to kind of continue in this game. James Conner puts up 120-plus scrimmage yards with 2 touchdowns and lead Arizona to a victory here in Week 12. Give me Arizona.
I'm gonna go with Seattle. We're gonna try and get us tied here, Burke.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Seattle and have faith that high flying offense that we all kind of expected or hoped for coming into the season kind of picks up here. I'm a big fan of the Cardinals and what they have going on offense there, but that receiving core for Seattle just could be really dangerous if Geno Smith has a day, and I'm going to hope that he has a day, and I'm going to go with Seattle.
Need Budda Baker to step up.
I'm hoping I'm the right side of both of a couple of these games because I'm going Cardinals on this one. They usually hurt me. I usually pick them. They do whatever the opposite. If I don't pick them, they do the opposite. So Burks made good points. I like Kyler. I mean, he had 2 incompletions last game. I'm just gonna, Seattle pulled out a lucky one this week. Geno was 0-5 against the Niners and led a game-winning comeback to get it. So I mean, we'll see. All right, I got Cardinals.
All right, next we got our Sunday Night Football matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams. Big game for the Rams, as I've kind of already talked about to death this video. NFC West is totally up for grabs. A win here, paired with a loss by the Cardinals, would go a long way in the Rams making a race for the playoffs. Eagles, on the other hand, looking the best they have since security officer Dom got ejected last season during a game altercation. I mean, the Eagles look amazing. Saquon Barkley looks fantastic. Jalen Hurts, as long as he's not turning the ball over, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC right now, if not the best quarterback, not named Jared Goff in the NFC right now. I just don't know if the Rams have enough to overcome all of that. On top of the Eagles' defense being, head and shoulders what they were last year, that secondary is insanely better. Rams do have some weapons that can kind of attack that secondary in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do quite enough. The Eagles' front seven gives Stafford a little bit too much, and Philadelphia should come out with a victory here, I think. As much as I want to pick the Rams, I think I'm going to go with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley could also pop off for another 200 scrimmage yards. So
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles as well. Their ability to run the ball has really let Jalen Hurts flourish, and I think we've seen that in his limited turnovers since they've really started to run the ball well. So I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles. Like you said, the Eagles have 5 in a row right now. Jalen Hurts, 5 out of the last 6 games, has not had any turnovers.
Yeah.
Only 1 game he had, and in that same game, he also scored 4 touchdowns. So, made up for it enough.
all right, in our last game, we got a Monday Night Football matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Los Angeles Chargers. A game that could go a long way in determining the AFC playoff picture. The Chargers get a win here. They've still got an outside chance at securing a home playoff game by winning their division. Would still be at least a game or 2 back of the Chiefs, but goes a long way. Meanwhile, the Ravens, if they drop this one and the Steelers win this week, it's going to be a long road for them to win the AFC North. So a huge game with crazy stakes for both sides. Chargers have looked really good this year. Defense has looked incredible. Justin Herbert hasn't really had to do a whole lot because they've been able to lean on that running game and that defense. But we saw this past week against the Bengals that what Herbert's asked to do, win them the game down the stretch, give him 2 or 3 drives, and he'll eventually get there. Punting it a couple times, then finally getting, what he needed out of Ladd McConkey on that final one to seal the game on a J.K. Dobbins touchdown run. Meanwhile, the Ravens' defense has not looked good. Offense took a step back this past week, but I think they'll inevitably be fine. Derrick Henry doesn't hardly ever fumble the ball, so a little bit of an anomaly there happening this past week. Lamar Jackson still played pretty well, just couldn't quite overcome what was a really, really good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I think we're probably going to see a similar story in this one, to be honest with you. Probably not a Derrick Henry fumble. I'm not going to predict a Derrick Henry fumble, but I think the defense is going to get to Lamar a little bit. They've got some pieces that can really chase him down on the outside with Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. They've got Derwin James in the middle of that defense that can kind of also cause some problems. Really good cornerbacks as well. Asante Samuel Jr. I think the receiving core is coming along for sure. Quentin Johnston actually looks like a competent NFL receiver. Ladd McConkey looks like a hell of a steal. I think I'm going to go Chargers in this one, in kind of an upset. They are at home. Never really are at home though, because it's the Chargers. Ravens fans will probably come and fill up half the stadium, but nevertheless, I do think LA is going to be able to come out with a tough win in the Harbaugh matchup. First one we've seen in a decade or so. I think Jim's going to come out on top this time around. Get a little bit of revenge for a 2012 Super Bowl.
Give me John. I'll take John and the Ravens. A big part of that Ravens loss last week to the Steelers was 2 big missed field goals by Justin Tucker. A lot of people don't realize that Taylor Swift actually hired someone with a voodoo doll to start poking at Justin Tucker whenever he goes to kick field goals, since he was fucking around with
shit! He got
Patrick
early,
Mahomes and Travis Kelce,
and he's off early for Thanksgiving. Shit.
So you might see Justin Tucker kind of back to his old self this week. But all jokes aside, I think the Ravens win this one. Tough, gritty. Should be a lot of handoffs in this game. Both teams really like to run the ball. I think the Chargers just dynamic combination between Lamar and Derrick Henry just get the job done just a little bit better.
You gonna switch it, Bert?
No, I was just fucking around. I'm gonna actually go ahead and go a little bit further and say J.K. Dobbins revenge game.
Forgot about that. Man, this is tough. I think the Ravens are a better team. I think they have more playmakers just on both sides of the ball. It'd be really big for the Steelers to win Thursday night and get Baltimore to lose this game. So, I don't know. Baltimore's defense didn't play bad this past week. They didn't give up any touchdowns. It wasn't like Russ threw for 300 yards, but Justin Herbert is not Russell Wilson. Not even close. So, yeah, I'm going to go Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers mainly because I need them to win. Usually they let people down when that happens.
I mean, the Ravens could be a little, like, obviously they're not going to necessarily show their hand in this arena, but Ravens could be a little banged up, a little tired from that Steelers matchup this past week. I was
going to say back-to-back weeks of our defense and then the Chargers defense. That's
tough.
Anything that's going to benefit the Chargers more because that's a
lot of pass rush
Oh.
just coming at you back-to-back weeks like that. J.J. Watt, now all of a sudden you got Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. It's going to be tough, I think, for the Ravens, but obviously they are the favorites.
that could be.
You could potentially be in the lead after this week, Burke.
We tied technically, but yeah, it could be because if Chargers, Packers, and
No, because I took 49ers
right,
and Seahawks.
oh, I'm
and
only
Ravens.
2 games back.
Yeah,
I thought I was 3. That's right. Wow, big week then. Stay tuned.
big
for
week.
Not next week's episode because we haven't mentioned this in any of this other week's episode, but we will not be releasing a video next week. Sorry about that. Be a little busy, getting hitched. So there's some grats down in the comments.
Maybe just like a short or something.
Maybe
Like
yeah,
short of
yeah,
our-
yeah. Whatever prediction we get, laughably wrong, you'll probably see a short about it next week, but maybe like Monday or Tuesday. But other than that, I mean, we're not going to put out a full-length video next week, so sorry to anybody who's watching these every single week. I don't think there's many of you, but to those who are watching every single week, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this before I fully wrap it up. But yeah, thank you to anybody who's actually watching these predictions every single week. We really appreciate it so much. Thank you for the love and support. If you are one of those, regular viewers, make sure to just let us know down below. That way we can shout you out and give you some proper thank yous in the comments. But other than that, unless you guys got anything else, I think that'll do it for this episode of the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube, Swivel Chair Sports. I've been your host, Zach Circleberg. Burkle here with the coast today, Aaron and Joe. Go say bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. Make sure to like and subscribe if you made it this far. Comment down below any predictions you think we got like laughably wrong, or any predictions that you actually appreciate us making. Maybe even. It'd be cool and nice. But deuces. Have a good day.